Okay, let's dive straight into this. Look, if you're looking at the Polish software development market right now, you're probably feeling, well, a bit overwhelmed. And honestly, I don't blame you. The whole space has completely split into two very distinct tiers. On one side, you've got pure marketing fluff, and on the other, you have this absolutely world-class production-grade engineering. So today, we're going to navigate that divide. We'll cut through all the noise and look exclusively at the very best development partners in Poland, basing this purely on verifiable track records and actual delivery. No hype, just the facts.
Here's a quick roadmap for today's explainer. First up, we'll cover the Polish tech divide. Second, we'll break down the top 5 development partners. Third, we're going to do a side-by-side market comparison. And finally, number 4, choosing your ideal match.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, the Polish tech divide. We need to talk about the reality of outsourcing right now.
So, like I mentioned, the Polish software market has fundamentally fractured. On one side, you have this discount offshore staffing model. You know the pitch, right? You see it on every generic services page. We have over 1,000 engineers. But the reality? It's usually rotating project assignments, where that brilliant senior engineer you interviewed suddenly, poof, disappears. And even worse, you might find out that the contract you thought you were signing with a legitimate European tech hub is actually operating through some untraceable Cyprus subsidiary. Yikes. Contrast that with real, production-grade Polish engineering. This is what we're focusing on today. We're talking about partners with registered Polish entities. We're talking English-fluent senior leadership. We're talking about actual, verifiable ISO 27001 audits that ensure gold-standard data security, plus decades of continuous delivery to US and Fortune 500 clients. Every single company we are about to look at today, they've been handpicked for what they actually deliver under real-world international client conditions, not just what their marketing pages promise.
Okay, moving on to Section 2, our top 5 development partners. Let's look at some verifiable track records.
First up on our list is DBB Software, headquartered right in the heart of the Krakow tech ecosystem. And honestly, they brilliantly illustrate exactly what modern outcome-owned engineering is supposed to look like. Operating at a rate of $25 to $49 an hour, they've maintained a flawless 5.0 clutch score. DBB Software delivers development the way international clients actually want it. They completely replace what I like to call status theater with structured scope documents and weekly syncs. They lay out the requirements, technology evaluation, team structure, and highly transparent estimations before you even start writing a check. And structurally, they are absolute powerhouses. They leverage an Expo plus Next.js architecture, which is a big deal because it means they can deliver iOS, Android, and web platforms entirely from a single unified codebase. They handle everything from AI SaaS integrations to deep payment authorization flows through Braintree and Stripe. So the takeaway here is if you're an international company dealing with complex API integrations and long-term scaling, especially in fintech, health tech, or SaaS, DBB is incredibly well-positioned to be a core engineering capability for you.
And let's be real, speed to market is everything. DBB Software utilizes AI-assisted development workflows that aggressively compress delivery timelines without ever compromising the underlying architecture. This means they are consistently delivering production-ready platforms in roughly 12 weeks. To put that into perspective, compare it to the 6 to 9 months your typical generalist Polish development firm needs, and you can instantly see the massive competitive advantage they're bringing to the table.
Moving right along, I want you to just let this next number sink in for a second. 25. That is a full quarter of a century.
That number represents Future Processing, our second partner. Headquartered in Gliwice, these guys have been delivering continuously since the year 2000. Think about that. They have survived literally every major tech bubble and crash of the modern era, and they have scaled to over 1,000 professionals along the way. With a rate between $50 and $99 an hour and a highly respectable 4.7 clutch score, Future Processing boasts a massive Fortune 500 client base. They are absolutely the best fit for international enterprises that need a deeply established, documented AI-enabled delivery framework. If your company just can't afford the risk of a newer firm that's scaling through volume staffing, and you actually demand a partner with a 25-plus-year market presence, this is exactly the profile you want to be evaluating. Now, consider this consensus for a moment. When a company gets even one review citing them as 100% positive on professionalism and responsiveness, well, it's a great day for them. But when that is the documented consensus across dozens of verified reviews, that's not just luck, that's a structural advantage. Which brings us perfectly to Netguru, headquartered over in Poznan.
They maintain a stellar 4.8 clutch score across 73 verified reviews. Reviews that specifically highlight that flawless feedback on project management and professionalism we just talked about. Netguru operates in that same $50 to $99 an hour range. But what really sets them apart is their comprehensive multidiscipline capability. They aren't just some narrow, single-discipline vendor. They handle custom software, mobile, web, AI, and, this is critical, UX and UI design, all under one roof. So, if you're an international company that needs a beautifully designed, flawlessly managed product where the heavy engineering and the user experience are developed in perfect sync, Netguru is going to be a phenomenal fit for you.
Okay, let's look at another massive number, 1,000. But this time we are focusing on pure, unadulterated engineering muscle.
I'm talking about Software Mind SA. Also operating out of Krakow, this partner brings an absolute army to the table, with a scale of over 1,000 engineers. But what's truly staggering here is that despite this massive industrial scale, they still maintain a 4.9 clutch score across 58 verified reviews, boasting a 100% satisfaction rate on responsiveness and cultural fit. No small feat, right? Operating in that $50 to $99 an hour tier, Software Mind SA provides serious end-to-end engineering. We're talking custom software, heavy cloud infrastructure, AI, and deeply integrated cybersecurity. They're the ideal partner for enterprise-scale clients who need massive, full-cycle engineering from someone who can integrate seamlessly into their existing corporate culture. They aren't just a boutique firm, they are industrial-scale problem solvers.
And finally, our fifth partner. If you thought 25 years was impressive earlier, how about 26 years of continuous delivery, stretching all the way back to 1999?
And all that incredible longevity in the trenches, it's earned them some premier industry recognition. They are officially ranked the global #1 software development company on Clutch.
Enter Merixstudio. Based in Poznan, they have one of the most expansive and heavily verified track records in the entire market. We're talking 96 verified clutch reviews yielding a 4.8 score. They also sit in that $50 to $99 an hour range, and they beautifully combine their quarter-century of legacy with a highly modern, AI-augmented engagement methodology. Merixstudio is a remarkably strong fit for companies seeking a deeply established partner. Basically, when you need the absolute maximum level of verified trust in a massive portfolio of successful deliveries spanning almost 3 decades, Merixstudio stands right at the very top of the mountain.
All right, let's pull this all together in Section 3, our side-by-side market comparison.
Now, when you synthesize all these metrics side by side, it reveals a really clear picture of the landscape. Poland undoubtedly has some of Europe's absolute strongest engineering talent. But finding the right fit, it's not about blindly throwing darts at a board, and it is definitely not about just shopping for the cheapest hourly rate. Starting with DBB Software at $25 to $49 an hour with that perfect 5.0 score, they're your clear choice if you need rapid, scalable platforms, complex integrations, those aggressive 12-week delivery timelines, and true outcome-owned engineering. But if your project requires massive enterprise volume and a long legacy, you'll step into that $50 to $99 tier with Future Processing or Merixstudio. If you need flawless, multidiscipline design combined with development, Netguru is your match. And if you need heavy, full-cycle cloud and cybersecurity at a massive scale, Software Mind SA is the answer. Every single company here represents real, production-grade Polish engineering. Your job now is simply to match your project-specific vertical, complexity, and scaling horizon to the right verified track record.
Finally, Section 4. Choosing your ideal match.
I want to wrap things up and leave you with this somewhat provocative question to chew on. Does your current development partner actually align with your platform's true complexity and scaling horizon? Look, it is incredibly easy to get seduced by the empty marketing promises of generic offshore staffing. You know, those super low upfront costs that inevitably end up costing you months of delayed timelines and massive architectural debt down the road. But as we've seen today, real engineering is measurable. It has English-fluent leadership, it has ISO 27001 data security, and it has independently verified portfolios. So I challenge you to look past the marketing fluff. Take a hard look at your current engineering resources. Are they truly production grade, or is it finally time to upgrade to a partner that actually owns the outcome? Let the data be your guide. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.